Good morning, everybody. How are you this morning?
Morning.
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 So these two Irishmen got together, and
Here we go.
one of them had just acquired a couple of dogs, and so the other one asked, "What'd you name your dogs?" And then the response was, "I named one Rolex and one Timex." Her friend said, "Whoa, I never heard of anybody naming their watches like that." And the other Irishman says, "Hello, they're watchdogs."
That's clever.
Last time we left off on settings, and we're going to continue on that route. So what I want to do is get my things up on your screen. Okay, can everybody see that?
Yes.
Yes.
I've got the iPhones on
Yes.
the left and the iPads on the right. And I'm in settings, right? And the last time we were on this, we went down the list and we were on general settings. Now, do I have any questions from last time?
I have one.
Okay, go ahead.
In the last class, you mentioned about capacity, and if we're in the 5 range, we're
5 or
running.
less. Yep. 5
Yes,
or
we're
less.
running close to the edge.
Right.
So I checked mine, Bill, and it's at 3.3 gigabytes
Mhm.
available. What should I do?
I think you mentioned you had a bunch of pictures too, don't you?
Yes, I do.
Is that what's taking most of the space?
It's either that or I have, let's see, photos 8.54 gigabytes.
Yeah. So that's what's taking the major part of your space. There's a couple ways to control your usage of the space. One is if you have a lot of pictures, you can say, hey, I don't want to save the full version of my pictures on my iPhone or iPad. I'll put them in the cloud. And when I want to see the full version of the picture, I will look at the picture.
Okay.
What they do is they only save what's it called? There's a name. You don't save the picture as it was taken. You save a reduced form of it, which we'll call a thumbnail. And instead of taking 1 to 2 gigabytes per picture, it takes 100 to 200 megabytes. So it reduces the amount of space your pictures require by 90%.
Wow.
And the way you implement that is you go to settings
Okay.
and then you go to photos. So I'm scrolling on my iPad, I'm scrolling down to photos. And in the photos settings, there's one called optimize your iPad storage or download and keep originals. If your iPad is low in space, full resolution photos and videos are automatically replaced with similar device size versions. Full resolution versions can be downloaded from the cloud anytime. And what happens is, if you do this, and I recommend you do it, and when you go look at the picture, when you go look at the picture and you tap on it, it may look a little granular to start with, but in a second or two, it clears up. And it goes to the cloud and gets the full resolution and shows it to you.
Oh, all right.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Bill, can I go through the steps again?
Say again, please.
Can you go through the steps again, how to get rid of the photos?
You go to settings,
Yep, I got photos.
photos, and then you see where it says on my iPad there, on my
Yeah.
iPad, this guy. See where it says right here? Optimize or download and keep originals. Just click where it says optimize. Okay,
Subject. Would you get in, there aren't many
the
pages.
second way you can save some space, if that doesn't do it for you, I'm going to mute everybody, okay? So if you have a question, be sure you unmute yourselves. Okay? The second way is to go to General iPad Storage, and there's an option right there. It says offload unused apps. Okay? Now, I believe I told you folks I have 300 or 300 plus applications on my device. And so I could save one heck of a lot of space by tapping enable right here. It says I could save 24 gigabytes. So I have a lot of apps I don't use very often, right? And if I tap it and I need the app, I can go back to the iCloud and download it. And I get it for free, whether or not it costs anything. Because I paid the fee if it costs something to start with. The disadvantage of both the photos and this is you have to be on the internet in some way in order to get either the app or the full version of the picture. And most of us are on the internet all the time with our device anyway. Okay? Any questions on that? So that was iPad storage. And Karen, did that work for you? Can't hear you. Don't forget to unmute yourself. There
Thank
go.
you, Bill.
Unmute.
Yes, it did. I appreciate that a lot.
Okay. If I go down, if I'm in general, right, and I'm past that, you see where it says, oh, did we cover picture in picture? We probably didn't. We covered AirDrop, I know. Picture in picture, if we just tap that, it says when this is on, videos will continue playing in an overlay, even though you press the home button. So they reduce to a little thumbnail size screen, and the video keeps playing in the background on your screen, but in a thumbnail size picture. And if you need to get it back, you just tap it. So that's a cool feature to have. If you're in a Zoom meeting and you want to do something, you can tap that. Okay. Background app refresh. What is that all about? I'll go to it on both my iPhone and my iPad, right? And I have that turned off. What this means is apps will not go and get additional information, assuming you have a bunch of apps running, right? And those apps are like the stock market and your email and things like that. If you have background app refresh turned on, those apps are going to go to wherever they have to go to continuously update themselves. If you want to save battery life, you turn that off so that they don't update themselves until you actually start using them. Okay, so it's a battery life preserver, if you will. The next one down there is date and time. the key when I have mine, it's not a 24-hour clock, it's a 12-hour clock. Show AM and PM on the status bar and show date on the status bar. Okay, that's the top left of my status bar on my iPad. Where does it show up on the iPhone? It doesn't show up on the status bar. Status bar is the thing clear at the top on the iPad, the thing right up here. Okay. And then set automatically. I do recommend you have that turned on. And that means if you're going across the country and you end up in San Francisco, for example, the time will automatically update as you go across time zones.
Bill, how about daylight saving time?
It automatically updates that as well. Okay. Now, Greg, I don't think you have to have set automatically turned on for daylight or Peter. You don't have to have that turned on to have it update on daylight savings time. That's an automatic feature. The next one down there is control center. The control center is something that pops up if you put your finger up here and pull down, or up here and pull down. Okay, it looks like this on the iPhone and that on the iPad. Now, I have a lot of things in the control center. All these little icons represent, a different feature. And so, for example, on the iPhone, when I want to get quickly to the flashlight, I can bring down the control center and hit the little flashlight there. Here's my battery life indicator. So I have a lot of different indicators on here, different apps I can access from the control center quickly. One of them that people use frequently is that see the little icon there with a circular arrow and a lock in the middle of it? And if you look real closely at the lock, if you look real close to the lock, the hasp will either be open or closed. And if I click it, does it open or close? Oh, can't. If I tap on it, the hasp closes. And if I tap it again, the hasp opens up. And that's to control screen rotation. When you turn your device, does your screen also self-regulate? And if you have it turned, oh, I gotta.
Bill, mine turns white and it's from a black screen to a white screen with a red lock.
Exactly, but if you look at the hasp on the lock, it actually closes as well. So both those things happen, Ann. But you have to look real close.
Right, I see that. But do you want it on the black or on the white?
Well, it depends on whether you want your screen to rotate or not, right? So right now, when the clasp is open or it's dark in the background, my screen will rotate as I turn my device over. When it's white, it will not. Let's see what happens here. It's not going to do anything on your screen.
So why would you ever want it on white?
Why would I ever want it on white? Every once in a while, I take a picture, for example, and I take it with my camera sideways or something, and the picture shows up on the screen, I have to turn my head to see it. All right. And when I turn my screen, the picture rotates. And I don't want that to happen.
Or if you're laying in bed at night reading and you're laying on your side and it rotates, you can stop it so that it doesn't rotate. And I do that all the time.
Thank you very much.
You discover when you need it, right? Okay. The thing I want to cover today is not the things that are in there in the control center. What I want to do is say, how do I control what things are there? In other words, these things down here, I have control over in the control center. All right. Well, if I go to settings and I go to control center, first of all, I can see the control center at any time, right? If I have it turned on. And home accessories or home controls. Now, most of us, well, I'm not sure. Some of us may have devices throughout our home we can control from our phone, like lights, thermostats, garage doors, something on our front door, doorbells and video cams. And you can control them from your iPhone. And what you can do is put the controls for that in your control center. And I choose not to do that because I don't have that many devices around my house. But if I scroll down further, you'll see include controls. And here's the ones I have, right? All these with minus signs next to them are the ones I have there. And the minus sign is there so that if I choose to, I can remove it. So for example, if I want accessibility shortcuts, if I don't want it in there, I would tap the minus sign and I would say remove it. So now it's no longer in the control center, right? It's been removed. If I want to remove the clock there, so I'll hit the minus sign, say remove. And if I go back and look at the control center, you'll notice the clock is no longer there. Okay. The other thing about this list, you see the parallel lines on the right. When you see those anywhere when using the iPad, it usually means that you can change the order of things. So if I want to move sound recognition, and that's this little icon, it's the one at the bottom of the list here. And let's say I wanted to move it to the top of the list, to the left of the bell there. If I wanted to do that, I would click on those parallel lines or touch, and I can then just drag And now if I look at the control center, you'll notice that those have been moved. That particular application has been moved to the top left in this case. Okay. Now you're saying, well, Bill, you got rid of a couple. How do you get them back? Well, they all got moved down to this list. And this is the list that contains the apps that I can put on the control center. So I'm going to re-add the alarm clock. And to do that, I click on the green plus sign. Okay. So now it's back in the control center. And if I look at the control center, put my finger on the top right and pull down, there it is. Okay. I just love it when it all works. Okay. Any questions on control center? And by the way, Ann asked me to remind everybody of this. I am recording this, I think. Let me check.
Yes, you are.
I am? Okay, thank you. So you can go back to the recording and create your notes then. And you can just try what I'm doing on your devices instead. Because to do both is a little taxing, to try to follow along, take notes, and experiment a little. Any questions on the control center?
Well, I have a comment on Control Center.
Go
Yeah.
ahead, Greg.
Flashlight in there, you can also have Siri turn the flashlight on.
Yep, there's a couple of three ways, but go ahead.
And then if you use the Control Center to turn flashlight on, you can also press it again and change the intensity of the flashlight, turn the light up or down.
What Greg's saying is if you, where's my flashlight? Oh, it's not on the iPad. If I go to my iPhone, which is in the left screen there, oh, you're saying in the control center, there's the flashlight. If I tap it, it turns on the flashlight. If I tap it, it turns it off. If I press and hold it, it comes up with something like that. And I can change the intensity by putting my finger. When I find where I am here. By putting my finger here and just dragging it up and down. Okay. So you press and hold it till you feel the haptic, and then you can do the adjustment up or down. Anything else on the control center? The next one there is display and brightness. And both the iPhone and the iPad have introduced this light and dark mode, right? If I change dark mode, you see what happens? Okay. And you can have that happen automatically for you. And I have mine go dark at sunset. I'm sorry, dark until sunrise. And then if I change it back to light, it says light until sunset. Okay. So it automatically switches to it. Now I can turn that off so it doesn't automatically do it. But it certainly is easier on the eyes if you have dark mode on at night. Here's where you can also adjust the screen brightness. Now, the screen brightness is a major use of battery power. But I don't recommend you make it too dim here so it's harder on your eyes. Okay, and I have my true tone turned on. If you turn it off, the screen gets a little more blue or warmer colors. Okay. Night shift automatically makes the lower or warmer colors at night. Okay. So they've got two things that make it easier for you to work this device: dark mode and what we're calling true tone. Okay.
Does everyone have True Tone? I don't.
Let's see. Do I have it on my new phone? Nope, I don't have it on my new phone. Oh, I just have true tone there. I don't have, night shift. If you tap night shift, I have True Tone on mine, and you don't on yours?
I do on the phone, but not on the iPad.
That's interesting. Oh,
I have less warm and more warm.
yep. That's if you go into the True Tone settings. I see what you mean, Ann. You're right. I don't have that same feature either. But if I tap night shift down there, there's less and more warm. Okay.
That I do have.
Okay. That's the one you should have. Okay. Auto lock. Now I have mine set to never. I don't recommend that. The only reason I have it on here is so that my screen, if I don't touch it in 5 minutes or so, it goes, right? Right? It automatically locks after a given amount of time. And I didn't want that to happen when I'm doing a class. Otherwise, now some people, the opposite is true. It's auto locking on them too quickly. They're reading a book and all of a sudden the screen locks on them. And you really don't want that. So you have to pick a time that's best for you. So if you go to settings, display and brightness, and you tap where it says auto lock, you tap the little arrow. And by the way, just in the way of review, if you see a little arrow to the right of anything, any writing, it usually means there's a submenu to follow. And so there I have 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. So if I changed it to 2 minutes, which I just tapped on my iPad, or 30 seconds on my iPhone there, in 30 seconds, it will automatically lock. And I don't want that to happen. So I'm going to change it back to, in this case, never.
Bill, for this class, I always change to never on both of them.
Yeah,
And then never forget to change it back afterwards.
but I do. Oh, you're saying you're reminding us not to forget that?
Yes.
And I'm saying I logged on to my iPhone, I think it was this morning, and it was still on never. So, all right. Somebody asked me, how can I get my text messages to be a bigger size? Or when I print something out, how do I get the text to be a little larger when I print something out? This is where you would do that. See where it says text size there? If I tap text size, I can adjust the size of the text. Now, I don't recommend you make it too big, else things get complicated. In other words, I want to show you what I mean. I have it, I'm adjusting the text size. Okay. And you'll notice on my iPad here, it says display and brightness on one line. As I make the text larger, you see how it puts it on 2 lines. It even did Control Center and put it on 2 lines. So if you're looking at an email or you're looking at something else or other lists, it may get a little cumbersome to read because of what shows up in terms of it has to go to a new line on a lot of things. So don't make it too big, but again, don't make it too small. Make it something that's comfortable for you. And so right now, if I go back up, if I print now, if I go to my email, let me go to messages, right? Is Lake green here?
That's Lake Erin.
No. But she just sent me a message saying, did you see me in the waiting room? And I did not. But you'll notice how on the left here, see how big the text is? Now I'm going to go back into settings. Display and brightness, and go down and change the text size. Something a little smaller. And now if I go to, see how it's much different? By the way, if I would print, it would come out to be that a much bigger print. All right. Any questions on that?
Yes, Bill?
Go ahead.
Jim McIntyre.
Hi, Jim.
Hi. I've just noticed that on my iPhone, the auto lock is enabled and it says auto lock 30 seconds.
Yep.
And it's grayed out, so I can't change that. And I've turned the phone on and off a couple of times to see if that would solve it, and it doesn't. So you have any idea on how I can get rid of auto lock 30 seconds? I had it set on never, but now it's on 30 seconds.
But you can't change it from 30 seconds?
Can't change it. That's on the iPhone, not on the iPad.
I know. Jim, the only thing I could think of to do, I can't think of why it would be, I've hit a couple of things like that as well. And it's usually some other setting holding that up. I guess the first thing I would try is to power down and power up my iPhone and see if that corrects it.
I've already done that twice and it didn't work.
Didn't work. Oh. Stop all the apps that are running. I think you know how to do that. And I'll just review that for everybody since we're asking you to do it. We always have a bunch of apps running in the background. Whenever we start an application, if I start my Safari, here's Safari. I think it's Safari. Wow. A little slow, aren't we today? There we go. So there's Safari and it's running now, and I press the home button and now I'm back at home, but Safari is still operating in the background. In order to have Safari not running in the background, if you have a home button, you tap the home button twice quickly, and it shows you the apps you currently have running. If you have an iPhone that does not have a home button, you put your finger off the screen at the bottom and you move up and stop in the middle. And you'll notice I have settings running. That's the only thing that's running on my phone right now. Let me get Safari running there. Okay, and now I have two apps running. Now, to stop those apps from running, I would put my finger on the app and pull up. By that I mean I put it right here and push it this way. The same way on the iPad. Put your finger in the middle of it and push up or slide up. You can do two at a time. I'll use my two hands and thumbs and I'll go whoop, whoop. You can even do three at a time if you're really good at this. Okay. So Jim, did that work?
Bill,
No.
No,
Didn't work.
it did or did not?
Did not.
I got a possible solution.
Go ahead.
It says that if you're in low power mode, you're locked to 30 seconds. So
Ah.
are you in low power mode?
I could be because I was just fooling with that. Yes, that could be.
Ah, good find, Bill.
That could be.
Mm. So where do we go to get out of low power mode?
Yeah, where?
It's somewhere in
how do I
here.
do that? Oh, it's in battery and you go low power mode and turn it off. Let me see what that did. Hey, that worked.
Ah,
That worked. It was,
fantastic.
okay, it
Wow.
was in low power mode. I didn't realize that, but it was, and I turned that off and now it's back to normal.
Yep.
Okay, thank you very much.
No, thank Bill. Thank you, Bill. Now we all know.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Okay. Home screen and dock is the next one there. Home screen and dock. Or just home screen on your iPhone, right? What they've done on the iPad is they provided a capability to have either smaller icons and have the widget screen show up on it, or just the bigger. And I'll choose bigger now just for something different. Okay. So now I can get more apps on the screen if I have smaller, and less apps on the screen if I have bigger. There is a capability, and it deserves more than just a 2-minute overview. It's called multitasking, where you can put more than one application on your screen at the same time. So I'll just show it to you, but then in some other class, we'll have to talk about how to use it. I'm going to bring up Safari. There's Safari. And then I put my finger at the bottom, and I'm going to bring up Mail at the same time. So I got my finger on the Mail icon. Whoops, just a minute. Bring up Safari. Put my finger on the Mail icon and drag it onto the screen. Come on, there we go. And now I have 2 apps on the screen at the same time. And there's my unread messages. Okay. Everybody get that idea? And there they are beside each other. So that deserves that deserves 10 or 15 or 20-minute worth discussion. And not everybody likes to use it because I don't use it very often on my iPad, but it is a really cool feature. If you're using email and you want to put a picture in an email, you can actually use this to bring up the email, bring up photos.
I have a question, Bill.
Yep.
I had that on mine, but not on purpose. I don't know how I got it. How do you
Yep.
get rid of it?
Well, what you said is maybe you had Safari up here twice.
Right. Oh, okay.
If you did, just close all the tabs on one of the windows in
Oh,
Safari.
okay.
Or put your finger, you should be able to put your finger in the middle. Let me bring it up again with Safari and Mail.
Yeah.
You can put
So
your
I want to get
finger,
rid of the mail. What do I do?
see right here?
Yeah.
If you put your finger right there and pull it to the edge.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
I think, okay, I got it. Mhm.
Okay. What I couldn't figure out is why I couldn't get the, Huh.
Oh,
Yeah, I can't quite get it to work the way I want it right now either, so I'm not going to get into it. All right. Apple has designed this device to be used by a lot of different people. And it may be, if I go to accessibility, it shows you what they have done in terms of people with vision issues, with people with maybe Parkinson's and they shake. There's some controls for physical or motor skills. There's some accessibility features for hearing, and then there's some general ones. For example, vision there. You see where it says magnifier?
Mhm.
I actually tap that and I turn magnifier off. Okay, magnifier lets you use your device's camera to quickly magnify your surroundings. Well, that's a pretty nice feature, right? And if I have the magnifier turned on, I believe I can hit the power button. I think it's twice or three times. 1, 2. No, it's in my control center where the magnifier is. Oh, I don't have it there either. So I got to add it to my control center. Oh, there it is. See the magnifying glass there in the control center? If I tap that, it comes
Oh.
up and I can actually magnify, see the mouse it's focused on, and I can really zoom in on that mouse.
Oh, that's nice.
Okay. And then I could take a picture of it by hitting the button. And now I can zoom in on the picture. It's a picture and I can zoom in on the picture, right? Now I'm going to get rid of the picture. Okay. So that's an example of one of the features that's available for people that may have vision problems, right? Now you have to be careful with some of these because they actually change the way your device works, like spoken content. If I tap that, it says speak, a speak button will appear when you select text. So I'm going to go there. Oh, I'm going to speak the screen, right? Swipe down with 2 fingers from the top of the screen to hear its content.
Speak selection on. A speak button will appear when you select text. Speak screen on. Swipe down with 2 fingers from the top of the screen to hear the content of the screen. Speech controller off. Highlight content off. Highlight content as it is spoken. Typing feedback. Voices. Speaking rate. Speaking rate 50%. Pronunciations.
Okay. Get the idea, everybody? Pretty cool features, and it works well. And I've met some people with vision issues, and boy, they learn how to control that pretty quickly, as I'm sure any of us would if we had that kind of a problem, right? There's one for touch there, right? Touch accommodations, right? And it's based on how long you hold the screen, and if you tap the screen and you want it to react to what you first tapped or what you actually ended up touching. So for example, if you have Parkinson's and you're shaking, do you want it to be the first thing you hit on the screen, or as you touch the screen, you actually stop shaking and you move it to where you want it to be? Then it would say, okay, you're going to take it in the last portion of the touch instead of initial. See where it says use initial touch or final touch? Okay. I make you aware of those because you may know folks who may be having problems like this, or we may have a problem like this in the future or now. Okay? If you have a hearing aid, here's where you'd hook in the hearing aid for hearing devices, right? And there's some controls in general for Siri, for example. Any questions on that? Everybody's kind of quiet. Okay, I'm going to go to wallpaper. Wallpaper is the background on your screens. You have two different kinds of wallpaper, or two different wallpapers. One for the room or that you go log into when you first get your device, and one that shows up in the background of the home screens. Right, you'll notice on my iPhone, it's a picture of my grandson, and on my iPad, it's a picture of sunset. Okay, well, how do you change that? Well, let's see. Whoa, hey, Bill, there's a little arrow right there. See the little arrow? It says choose new wallpaper. And what did we say the new arrow meant? The new arrow means it's going to give me another menu. And when I tap that arrow, it comes up with a new menu, but it also has a way to get back to where you were at the top left of the screen. Okay. So on the iPad, I can pick dynamic or stills from the library of things that Apple provides. So there's the stills that I could have. And they have the stills for light and dark mode. Or the dynamic. The dynamic are little bubbles running around your screen, different colors. I choose not to use that because it uses, I mean, it's a fun thing to use, but it uses battery life. You can also choose from the photos you have. Okay, so I have all these different photos. I could tap on my photos and go pick a photo. Right, so if I wanted to pick a picture of my wife and grandson, okay. I think I'm getting it. No, didn't pick it up yet.
Bill,
Yes, go ahead.
how do we change the size of the picture on our iPad? I chose a picture and it's too big. It doesn't show the whole thing, the whole picture. How do I change the size of that picture? It says move and scale, but I'm not finding.
Well, let me try to get one here and try to do it with you.
Sure. I tried to pinch it, but that doesn't work either.
Gotta find a picture here. Just a fun one. Come on, there we go. There we go. Right? So I'm squeezing it to change the size.
I'm squeezing it.
2 fingers on the screen and squeeze them together.
Then it pops right back out to the big again.
Well, it does, but in my case, right, that's the best it can do. There's full scale. Now I'll make it smaller, right?
But how did you keep it small?
Does it stay small on yours?
Hit the set button.
Okay. So hit the set button. Lock home screen, set home screen. Okay. Nope.
But this still doesn't make it smaller.
Let me get a picture I think you folks are using.
Get a picture of a face and that will do it.
Okay. One that I've taken with the camera is what you want me to do.
Yes.
Okay, I was able to do it on this one. Okay, I squeezed it, right? Like so. And now it's a smaller form factor. Oh, you're using your phones? Is that what you're doing?
I'm using my iPad and I squeeze it and it gets smaller, but as soon as I take my finger off, it goes big again. That's okay. Don't worry about it.
It happens to me
You can
too.
only zoom in.
Okay. No big thing.
Anybody else having that issue?
Yeah, I'm having the same thing. It seems to go back to full screen so that depending on which mode I'm in, whether it's portrait or landscape, it just occupies the whole screen and I can't shrink it below the whole screen to show the whole picture.
Oh, so it was a landscape picture you're showing up in portrait.
Yeah, but as it turns out, it's a fairly big picture so that I don't get the whole picture either way, but it has more display when I'm on landscape, even it's just showing more of the picture.
That's what's
As I shift-
happening. That's what's happening on this one as well. On my phone, you see it?
Hmm.
And I can't adjust that.
Okay, that's all right. No problem.
But I can select what I want. So if I want that to be the, right? Let's see if that's the lock screen now. Yeah. So you can move it around and pick the image you would like, but you can't shrink it.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Any questions about wallpaper? Those of you who've taken class with me before, you may have this set correctly, or not correctly, set the way I have it set here. See where it says listen for Siri? Listen to Hey Siri, I have that turned on. I have press the home button for Siri. And I have allow Siri when locked turn off on my iPad. Okay. I turned off Hey Siri on my iPhone. Hi Siri, how are you today? Not sure she understood that. I have the language set as Australian accent. So when Siri talks, it's an Aussie accent.
Bill, she answered me answered you on my.
That's because picked up my HEYSIRI. Okay. And many of the languages you may pick, I picked English. They have different accents you can have. I guess I should choose Irish, shouldn't I? I'm going to choose Irish.
Hi Siri, your virtual assistant.
And it's downloading the Irish accent. Okay, I think.
Don't teach her how to say Irish jokes. So.
I have it set on Australian, and Aussie has some strange.
Virtual assistant.
has some strange names for things, like exits to a highway. They don't call it an exit, they call it something else. So when she was saying get off at this exit, she was using a different word, and I couldn't figure out what she was saying. A Siri's response, right? And you can have her give me a spoken response always when Siri is in silent mode, when silent mode is off, or only with Hey Siri. Thank you, Siri.
You're welcome.
All right. By the way, if you have it set on a female voice, you can't change it from anything other than always. Nobody got that, did they? Female always has the last word. Jim and I got it. Okay. But no, seriously, you can change it. Always show Siri in captions. I always like to have it written what's being said. And show the transcription of what I'm saying on the screen as well. Okay? Now, if you're having problems Siri understanding you, you can try turning off Siri and then turn it back on and go through the exercise. It says read the following expressions, et cetera, et cetera. And sometimes that helps a lot. Okay. I have Siri's suggestions on home screen turned on. And she can make the following suggestions, right? When you do something, she'll go through these apps, right? For example, this one, right? And learn what she needs to know to help you out on that particular application, okay? I have a pencil, so there's a pencil. Sharon's the one that has been using the pencil a lot. I like what she did with it, so that's one of a gift I got for Christmas was my pencil. All right, not many of us have that, but it's a good tool. Touch ID and password on my iPad, and facial ID and passcode on the iPhone X and above. Okay. In each case, they want you to put in your password. Okay. And then you can add a new face or add a new fingerprint if you want. Okay. On your iPhone, for example, it says set alternate appearance. I actually tried it with my mask on. And it said, no way, Jose.
Bill, just as a point of interest, you had 4 digits on your passcode. You do have an option of changing it to 6 digits for more
Correct.
security if you'd like.
Yes. And if you have 6 digit and you want to change it back to 4, you can also do that by going to options. Okay. If you say change passcode, I have to put the original passcode in. Ooh, didn't like that. Okay. And you see where it says options there on my iPad? If I click on that or tap it, it says, what would you like? 4, you want a custom alphanumeric or just numeric? And I'm going to change it back to 4, right? All right. On the iPad, it says battery. On the iPhone is the next item down. It says battery. There's a cool feature on the iPhone. That's the one that has the most problems with batteries. And so Apple added this feature called battery health. And if you tap the little arrow on your iPhones beside battery health, it tells you how good your battery is. Mine says maximum capacity can achieve when plugged in is 100%. It's a new phone. My old phone got up to about 75%. So the old phone is only 75%, is only capable of being charged to 75% of its original capability. And as long as it's above 70%, you're in good shape.
Where do you get the battery health?
On your iPhone, not your iPad. It only shows up on the iPhones. Are you saying you have an iPhone and it didn't show up?
I didn't check the iPhone. I was looking at the iPad.
Yep. Okay. And it also shows you some great other features there. What have you used your phone for recently? Okay.
I have a question about battery health.
Okay.
Mine says 81%. Your battery's health is significantly degraded. An Apple authorized service provider can replace the battery to restore full performance and capacity.
What's your question?
Is 81% that bad? And how much does a new battery cost?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I think it costs something like $150 or so to get a new battery put in. I think it was 3 or 4 years ago, Apple had a issue and they voluntarily replaced all the batteries. And I think it was back when my iPhone 6S, and they would replace the battery. That deal is no longer available at no charge or minimal charge. But I think now it costs somewhere around 20, 30 bucks. Sharon, as I said, I think if it's above 70%, it's not a bad situation. You just have to charge it more often than you used to.
Yes, and my phone is over 2 years old, so
Yeah.
I understand that, but there's really no reason to get a new one because it's working fine.
If it's working fine, and what happens is it discharges very quickly. And if that starts being an issue, then you want to do that. Which brings up the question, when do you charge your phone? Do you charge it every night? Do you charge
Yes.
it only when it gets down to a certain level, etc.? You should not plug it in if it's 70% or higher. Okay. If it's 70% or below, it's okay to plug it in and let it charge overnight. And you should let it discharge to 30% or lower once in a while, just to exercise it enough. It's certainly not the way we were supposed to do lithium batteries, but these you can do that way. Okay. So the general rule is below 70%, go ahead and plug it in. And every once in a while, let it almost drain or drain completely. Once in a while, once every 3 or 4 weeks. Okay?
Bill,
Oh,
it's Sally. I don't know why, what would happen if I plugged it in every night? What problem is it?
I used to plug mine in. I still plug mine every night,
Because
But
I'm
I
afraid it would,
but I check the battery level now, and I didn't used to. And if the battery level is 70% or greater, I say it doesn't make sense to plug it in.
but
'Cause,
what, did it hurt the phone to do that?
uh, minimally, yes, minimally. As I said, my 6S I plugged in every night, religiously, right? And it worked fine, right?
No, I have an 11.
That's okay as well.
Okay.
Bill,
Okay.
on low power mode, would you not turn that on so that if you really do get below and you're in a situation where you need your phone, wouldn't that be a good idea to have turned on?
Was there a feature there?
In settings, battery, low power mode on the phone
Yeah,
temporarily reduces background activity like downloads
I
and
know.
mail fetch until you can fully charge your phone.
No, is there a way to turn it on automatically when it goes to a certain level?
It says when mine gets that way, it tells me that I could go into low power mode.
It tells you should or will.
I think it lets me do it. But I have it turned off here.
Right. So well, you don't want to put it in low power mode, slows the way it works and it dims the screen slightly. Okay. So
So it's better to have it off.
Better to have it off here and wait to get that message.
Thank you.
And I thought there was a place where you went in and set it, whether you wanted to go into low power mode or not. Hey, Bill, can you check that out? Is there a way to set lower power mode to automatically happen? Or Greg, one of you guys? I thought there was. There used to be. All right. Privacy.
Yep.
So go ahead, Bill. Did you find something?
Not yet.
Okay.
Just a question about checking battery health on an iPad.
Yes.
Do that?
No, there's no equivalent thing on the iPad.
Okay.
Wait,
And
Bill,
yeah.
it is on the iPad. It's not the same, but there's a place there for it.
Say that again, Jim?
Under battery on the iPad, it says battery percentage at the top. You can select that or not. If it tells you high brightness, it tells you when it was last charged and all that stuff. So there is the equivalent on that iPad.
Which shows you the level,
Yes.
but it doesn't show you the health.
Well, it tells you last charge to, mine says 100%.
Right. And I wonder if that goes to less than 100% if it's an older battery.
I don't know that.
All of you out there, some of you have older iPads. If you have battery, if you tap on battery, does this particular diagram show 100% the last time you charged it?
Mine doesn't. Mine's down. It looks like, just eyeballing, it looks like it's about 75.
And
Mine
that's
says
what it is, or that's the maximum it's been to?
It looks like it's been to 95.
Okay. But not to 100%.
It doesn't look like it ever reached that.
Okay.
Mine says last charged to 100%, but the lines don't show them going to 100%.
Okay.
Yes,
Does yours
actually, I have
say-
the same thing.
Does yours say last charged 100% there?
Mine does, but as someone just pointed out, the graph doesn't look like it reached there, but it does. It's charged 100%.
Right. It hadn't been plugged in long enough, probably.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so it will charge to 100%. So anybody not have 100% there last charged? Well, it looks like it charges to 100%.
Yeah, okay, I understand. Thank you.
All right.
Bill, the low power mode does not automatically turn on, but I've seen it come up with a little warning and to let you select it.
Yeah, Ann said that. I thought it would happen automatically at 20% or something.
I
Okay.
think, yeah, I think what it does is that when it gets down to 20% or lower, it will come up and say, do you want to go into low power mode?
Yep.
If you get 80% or higher, it'll automatically turn off low power mode.
Okay.
But you can set it manually in that battery setting, but the only thing you're going to do is you're going to slow down the performance, and you're going to dim your screen a little bit, and you'll hit limits like we just hit with you. Yeah, it'll shut itself off after 30 seconds. So there are some things that it's doing in that period, but as long as you're between 20 and 80, I don't think you have to do it. And I don't think you can reset the percentage number from anything other than the 20 and 80.
Okay. All right. Thank
It
you.
does turn iCloud photos off when it's in low power mode, so that.
Oh, it doesn't transmit photos up there either. Okay. Privacy is the next item.
And Bill, before you go to privacy on the iPhone, there were two categories above battery that you didn't mention.
Oh, emergency SOS and
Exposure notification.
Okay, good one. Thank you. Exposure notification. It's one they've added to the iPhone. It's for coronavirus.
Oh.
If you turn that on, therefore they're tracking where you go, and then they'll tell you if there was coronavirus in the area you were when you were there.
So the next thing, if you'll be able to breathe into your phone, it will give you your test results.
No doubt.
This one was a little too intrusive for me. I don't want you tracking where I go all the time. Yeah, it's a good thing for coronavirus, but I'm not sure what else you're going to use that data for. So I didn't choose to turn that on. But 1984 is where we are here. Emergency SOS. Go ahead and tap that, everybody. It's a good one if you have an iPhone. All right. And it says if you press and keep holding the side button on either volume up button to make an emergency call. What's it say on the iPhone 7, 8? Because you have a home button, right? What's it say on yours? Anybody have one of those?
I have a home button. It says the same thing. Side buttons.
Right, but you have an iPhone without. Oh, it says hit which button?
I have you set the side button and either the volume to make it.
Okay, so you do the same thing on the iPhone with a home button. Okay.
That's a SE second generation is what I'm using.
That's far enough back.
That was a 2020 phone.
Right. Oh, that's a 2020 phone.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If I press and hold them both, and I'm going to do that right now, and I'm holding, and this screen comes up on the iPhone. Slide to power off, medical ID, emergency SOS. If you don't come up with medical ID, you need to do this, set up your medical ID. Okay. And you see, if I scroll up on this screen where it says edit emergency contacts in health, go ahead and tap that. It takes you to health, and then tap edit and put in your information. Okay, I like to make sure everybody's done this, especially your contacts, your height, weight, allergies, blood type, etc. Okay. So if you haven't done that, take a note. Go to the health app. And the health app looks like that on your phone. See it? Has a little heart on it. Go to the health app. And where do you put in the emergency information? Huh. I guess we're not going to get to it that way hit your upper right-hand corner. Oh, medical ID. There we go. Wow. If you go to the health app and tap upper right-hand corner where there's an icon there, and then tap medical ID. That's a little harder to get to. It's a little easier to get to that by going to settings. Emergency SOS. And then edit emergency contact in health. And please, everybody do that because the EMTs know about this. And what they'll do if they come upon you and you're unconscious, they'll pick up your phone and they have a technique where they hit the side button 5 times. The power button, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this pops up and then they go emergency medical ID. And now they have your information. They know who to call in case of emergency. They know what your blood type is. They know what allergies you have. So possibly could save your life. So please do that.
Bill, how do you take something off of that? I have my daughter on here.
Yeah.
It's my contact 3 times. I don't know how she got there 3 times.
That's better. That's much, much better than not at all.
Right. Now I have that, and my son's just 1 time. So
okay.
how do I get 2 of those off?
If you tap edit,
just hit edit.
Just tap edit, and now you can remove 1 or more of them.
Oh, okay. So I'll just remove this one. And just mother, father, whatever. And it doesn't say how to do that.
Say again, please.
I said it doesn't. Do I just do the minus?
Yeah, the minus sign is what removes them.
Okay, got it. All right, I got it. All right, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay. A big category there is privacy. Apple has gone to great lengths, I think, to try to have you control over where your data goes, where the information you have on your phone ends up. And so if I tap privacy, right, there's several, there's a bunch of things that are on your phone that you can share with other people. And one says you can share your location. I have not used tracking. Okay, I don't have tracking turned on, and that's allowing apps to know where you are, right?
Yeah.
But there's contacts, you have contacts on your phone, you have calendars on your phone, you have photos on your phone, you have all this information on your phone, and do you or do you not want to share that kind of information with others? You have a microphone on your phone. Do you want to allow an app to use your microphone or your camera or your health data? So that's what this screen is all about. And for example, if I want to control my location, first of all, it says location services up there. And I tap it and I say, I would like my phone to know where it is. In other words, gather the GPS information. And so I have location services turned on. Okay. Down below there are all the applications I have on my device that would like to know where I am. And you'll notice I have most of them either turned off or while using.
Right.
Okay. And I don't believe I have any of them set to always. Okay.
I don't either.
Bill, can I ask a question?
Absolutely. Go ahead.
I've always wondered about apps, and every time, every organization wants you to put their app on your phone or your device, your iPad.
Yep.
Is it because they're tracking you that much? What information do they get off of it other than when you're in a department store, they can track you?
Well, no, here's where you control that. Okay. So even though they may want to, I don't have them set, right? And I can explain why many of them that I have the way I have it, right? But you'll notice that if you look at here, the Apple Store has no reason to know where I am. The Apple Store. Now the apps may, right? But no, right? American Airlines, do they really need to know where I am? Right? Alexa, do you need to know where I am? So I have those set to never, right? On the other hand, around me is an app there. See where around me is? I say while using, right? Now I could have it set up. Where's around me there? Never, ask the next time, always, or while using app. While using app's the only one I have, right? And around me tells me where the closest gas station is. Well, closest to where I am is what I would like to know, right? Or where the closest hospital, hotels, etc. Okay?
Is
If I have
around
on-
me something that's only on 12 and up above? Because I don't have it on the 11 Pro.
You don't have what?
Around me.
Oh, no, that's an app I downloaded. And that's an app I have on my device.
Oh, I see. Thank you.
I got warmer in here, I could tell. Okay.
Bill?
Yes,
I
go
have,
ahead.
I have a question. I'm looking through I have emergency on always. Is that a good idea? There's an app called Emergency, and then I have this on always. That's the only one I have on always. All the others are.
I
while
don't know. I don't know what that app is.
Oh. Oh, I must have loaded it down. It's like a red cross and then like an exclamation mark.
Okay, I don't have it on my device, so I'm not.
Okay.
I don't know what its purpose is, so it may be perfectly okay to have that.
Mm-hmm. It is ask next time while using the app and always, and then it says precise location.
Right. Oh, that's a good, thank you for mentioning that. What they do is they have always, and then many of them say precise. And they're getting within like 30 feet of you versus 100 feet for your location. So it's a more precise determination of what your location is.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so we did locations. What about contacts? What apps want to know your contacts? You'll notice a bunch of apps that would like to know my contacts.
Where do you get that?
There are a bunch of apps that would like to have access to your photos. Okay. Like, for example, my Walgreens app would like to be able to access my photos. And I said, yes, CVS the same way, because I want to send them particular photos. But the key here is Apple gives you control over that. Microphone, which ones have access to your microphone? Okay. I have an app called Translate. Well, I'm supposed to be able to speak to it. So it has to have access to my microphone. So I recommend you folks spend some time, go through those, and make sure you only have the ones turned on for those you want to give authorization to. Okay? App Store. There's a cool one about the App Store. I need to mention it now. Let's see. Go ahead. Question? We have two things there. I want to update the apps, and there's something called apps there, right? Update will automatically do updates as they come available, right? And for apps, automatically download new purchases, including free made on other devices. So if you're family sharing and you purchase a device, it would automatically download on another device. And I believe it would automatically download onto someone that your family sharing with as well. You'll notice on this one, on my iPhone there, it says cellular data. That means that I would download this, updates, et cetera, while I'm in cellular mode. Okay, and that means I don't have a Wi-Fi connection and it's trying to connect through the cellular network. I actually choose not to do that. Okay. Because that would use my data plan. If I'm going to get a new or an updated app, I'll just download it when I'm on a Wi-Fi network so it doesn't use my data
Right.
allocation for the month. Any questions about those guys?
Yes, Bill, this is Ann. Why do you have apps turned off?
Where? Up here?
Yes.
I just never thought to turn it on. I think it'd be a good idea to turn it on. So now if I buy it on my iPad, it will show up on my iPhone as well. Okay?
Thank you.
Bill,
Mm-hmm.
I must have misunderstood. I thought you just said on automatic download for apps, you don't want it on because it uses cellular, oh, that's on down, cellular data. Okay, but the apps should be on.
I think
Not-
so. I think
okay.
so. I have an iPhone and an iPad, or you may have multiple phones or a couple of different situations. So if you put it on one, you want to get it on all of them.
The only negative I found is if I have that on for app updates, every time I turn on my iPad or my iPhone, it'll try to update everything that needs to be updated. And that I might be trying to do something else, so I don't want the updates to happen at that moment.
When you say turn on do you power your device down?
No, I actually wasn't. It was shut off, but I wasn't allowing updates when it was shut off, I guess. But yeah, because I don't usually, I only power it down maybe once a week or something, but
Yeah.
I noticed that when I wake up the iPad, particularly the new one, it starts updating some of the apps that I already had there. And I want to do something else. I don't want it to control when I'm updating. Just do it immediately when they see it.
Yeah. I would have thought it would have done it when it's asleep. And I assume you put it to sleep and plug it in at the same time, right?
Yeah, I do. I plug it in overnight, but it's just,
But it doesn't seem to update then. Huh. Okay, I thought it would, but if what you're saying is true, it only updates when you actually have it turned on. All right. On my iPhone, I have something called, on my iPad, I have something called Wallet and Apple Pay. I love Wallet and Apple Pay. If I double tap my power button on my phone, it comes up like this, and I can hold my iPhone near most of the card readers in the stores now, and it will pay my bill. Okay. But I have to double tap and my face has to be in the picture as well. Okay. I have something called passwords there. Password requires my facial recognition. Let me turn it sideways so it doesn't get my face. And what you have to do is either put in your passcode or it has to identify your face or fingerprint. Okay. And when it does that, I'll do it on my iPad there. It comes up and says, here's all the places you have logged into Safari. And here are the passwords associated with those places. If I tap the arrow, you'll see my passwords, and I choose not to do that, okay? All right. So if you forgot a password, this does keep track of them to some degree. You'll notice, for example, FaceTime, I think I had 2 or 3. Facebook, I have at least 2 there. Flipboard, I have 2. So I may have updated that at some point and kept the old one and the new one.
Bill,
Okay.
do you have another vault in addition to save a password saver? I just read an article in the paper about for the Apple users, we should have another one.
I write everything down.
Oh, so you don't have one other than this?
Correct.
Okay.
Some people like Dashlane.
Yeah, Dashlane, that's the one that I think they recommended.
Right.
But you don't think that's necessary?
If that's up to you, right?
Okay.
The advantage of Dashlane is it's available not only on your Apple devices, but on a PC computer, you can get to it. As long as you have an ID and a password for Dashlane, you can get to all your passwords. Okay?
Bill?
Yes.
I don't know, you can also copy your passwords onto notes and lock them and lock the note.
Yep. Yep. We've talked about that before, and you
We
can
did. Mhm.
you can enter your passwords into a note and lock the note.
Mhm.
And that's a good idea. I have all my passwords on an Excel worksheet, so I could get it on my iPad and then put it in a note and then lock the note. So I would have those passwords with me at all times.
Right.
And it's a much more extensive list than the one here because it includes the places I've logged on from my computer. You know, like, what's the name of the Saracen? Everbridge, is it?
Yes.
Which is not on any of my devices yet. Okay. By the way, I did choose autofill passwords, right? Oh, I do have an app on here called Keeper.
What's the
ahead.
iCloud keychain, Bill?
That's where your passwords are put.
Oh.
So they're accessible to you through the iCloud, or they're on the iCloud.
Synchronizes them between your devices too.
Very
I
good.
have a
Yes.
question, Bill. Could you tell me how to lock a note? I use notes a lot, but I don't know about locking them.
Okay. Let me write that down.
I don't show any passwords on my list.
That's because you didn't save any, huh?
Say again, please.
When I go to passwords under settings, there's nothing showing.
You don't have passwords in your list?
I have passwords, but when I click on it and it moves on and it says autofill passwords, and I've got keychain and RoboFarm checked. But when I go back, it doesn't show me any of the, like you have Amazon, Apple. I don't have anything like that.
These are only places you've logged on to since you turned that on.
Well, I go a lot of places and there's nothing there.
So you only have a couple in A, you don't have any in B's and C and D?
I have none at all.
Oh, you have none. But you have them in that, what's the other, you're using RoboForm or something like that? What are you using?
RoboFarm.
Right. They're in RoboForm,
Yes.
but they're not in Keychain.
I don't think I've ever used keychain, but I did just check it.
You just checked it.
Yes.
So from now on, it will put it in there as well.
Oh, okay.
Does that make sense? You can't go back and get ones you've put in before.
Okay.
All right. If we type mail, right? Go ahead and go back to settings, everyone. And we go to mail. Okay. And I look at, and I have cellular data turned on, so I'm getting my mail while I'm in cellular mode. But you see where it says accounts? Wow, 9 accounts on my iPad. Whoa. And 6 on here. Wow. Okay. What it does is shows you which accounts you have mail on your device. It shows you the accounts you have that your device is gathering mail on. Okay. And so for example, I have more than one, and these are the different mail accounts that I have. You can add an additional account. And a little thing my wife and I do is I have put her account on my device. My devices. And you see where it says PV Pat C on here? See where it says Pat C right here and here? That's when I added. And so I said, okay, I have it, but I don't want to see her mail. So I have mail turned off and I have contacts and calendar turned on so that her contacts show up in my device. Her calendar shows up on my device. And the two are combined so that when she schedules something, I see it on the calendar on my device. That makes sense to everybody? And it makes a lot of sense for our family because then if she needs my help, she has to schedule an eye doctor appointment. And the eye doctor says you're going to need a driver, right? She could go to the calendar on her device, which is set up kind of the reverse of mine. And she would see that I have an appointment or not during that time slot. And she would book it. And then I would see it so I wouldn't schedule something during that time. So it works out really nice for us.
Bill, how did
Yeah.
you get her on the account? When I hit add account,
You hit add
it gives
account.
me AOL and Outlook and all of that. And
Right.
when I hit Outlook, for instance, which is my husband's mail account, it says sign in.
No,
and
that's
account
not
creation.
his, that's not his mail account. That's just the program he uses. What's his mail address?
You mean his R7131 at Comcast?
Yes. So his is Comcast, not Outlook. See, Outlook does have, they confused this. Microsoft did. They have a program called Outlook you can put on your computer to go ahead and look at your mail. They also have an Outlook.com email provider, and they're two different things. So in your case, Ann, you would go to other, and then you would add a mail account. And in this case, you would put his email, and you would type his email address as comcast.net, his password. Is that making sense?
Well, when I got to new account and I put in his name, okay, then I put in his email address and then I have to get the password from him.
You got it.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Bill, I have a question about that. Every time I turn this on, it seems my husband's email address comes up and they ask for the password again. I have no idea. He doesn't get an email anymore, because he's in memory care, but how do I get rid of it? I don't remember his password, and he certainly doesn't remember his password.
That's the problem.
Well, do you have do you have him listed here?
Yeah, I have his address, but I
Okay.
don't have a password.
Okay.
So all I want to do is get rid of it.
All right. You see where, let's say I wanted to get rid of my wife's account. See it there?
Right. Oh, here it is. Delete account down at the bottom.
Yep.
So just hit that. I just didn't go down far enough. So I just hit that, right?
Yep.
Okay. Done. Delete from my phone. Okay. Perfect. Thank you.
Great.
Bill, I have a question about contacts.
Got it.
You're looking at both yours and Patty's contacts. How do you manage the contacts? Do you choose to put certain ones on your account and certain ones on her account, or?
I'll show you. Okay. Greg's asked me, how do I manage? I had two different address books, and how do I manage that? Right?
Yes.
If I go to my contacts application, and I'll go to it on my iPad there, that'd be this guy right here, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I hit the back arrow to go back. And you see where it says groups?
Yes.
And there's my wife's. And here's mine. And both of them are checked. If you have one of it or the other checked, so I'll turn, let's see, I'll turn both those off. I have some in iCloud. See the ones in iCloud? I have 2 people in iCloud. Right?
Yes.
If I tap hers, that shows me just hers. If I tap mine, it adds mine to hers. And one of the questions might be, there's hers, it has ACE tech support, it has Richard Adams. And I have Richard Adams, I believe. No, I don't. So I don't have Richard Adams in mine. I was going to say, I'm not sure what happens if you have it in both.
That's really the question. And then how do
There it
you
is. Apple Inc. is in both, I think. There's hers, Apple Inc. No, that's in the iCloud. You can try it, Greg. Does it show them twice?
I haven't tried it, but I read something recently where they recommend to create a third account. And the third account is a Bill and Patty account. And that's where you store all the addresses that you want to both have.
Well, just try it here. Go to where I am. You have on your, okay? And just
Okay.
turn off one and pick a name that you might have in both. And see if it duplicates.
Okay. Because I'm worried about like if you have a mutual friend and they change a phone number or whatever.
Understood.
It and so you both have the new updated information.
Right. I think it would appear on both, and you might have both phone numbers if you don't delete it from one of them or both of them. But I think it does combine the two.
Bill, you see where it says untitled group? I have about 4 of those and I'd like to get rid of them. How would we do that?
I got nothing. Well, you want to get rid of the group?
Get rid of untitled group, yeah, because there's nothing in there.
Yeah, I got it there too. Do you have a Mac, a PC?
Yes, I do.
Which one, a Mac?
A Mac.
I think you have to do it at the Mac level. I'm not
Oh, okay. Do it in the Mac. Okay.
At the Mac level.
I'll work on. I'll have Greg help me with that. Okay.
I'd like to know how to get it off my iPad.
Well, me too. That's fine.
I try to go to iCloud, and you might have, if you're on the www.icloud, I think you have more tools available than on the iPhone.
That's a good idea, Greg. So he's saying go to iCloud.com, put in your email, put in your Apple ID and password, and see what's there. All right. And Greg, I'd be interested in the results of if you bring up your wife's and you have a name there, and then you just bring up yours and you have the same name, right?
Okay, I'm going to try it.
And see if does it duplicate it or does it combine them? I think it combines them, but I'm not sure. All right. While he's doing that.
Bill,
Go ahead.
Bill, about mail, is there a way I can make a group that I just want to write the same letter to 5 people?
Yes, but
You
not
know,
not with the native stuff that's on the iPad or iPhone. There's a way to do it with an app called Mail Shot. Ooh, I didn't want to go there. I wanted to go to the app called Mail Shot.
Mail Shot.
Right. And pay the $3-4 and get the Mail Shot Pro. And it provides you with a program that looks like this, an application. Okay.
Yes. And that'll just put all the addresses up at one time.
No. Yeah, what you would use, for example, if I type in 2020 Stug Board, right? If I
Right.
go ahead and tap here and I say, I want to send a mail to all those folks, I just tap send to, okay? I can create a new group really easily with MailShot or MailShot Pro by typing create a new group. So I downloaded the app, it came up, and I actually have created 2 already, right? From the home screen, I tap start. And if I had to create a new one, you see where it says create a new one? I tap that.
Right. Yeah.
And it wants me to name it. So I'm going to call it
Right.
test number 1. Okay, now I created a group called test 1, and it says add a contact. Now I've already, it would at this point, if you just downloaded, say, I need to access your contacts. And you would say,
Right.
yes, you would allow them to do that. So then you would go through and pick some people. Let's pick Dick Bayless, and I'll pick his email address. I would like that one. So it added Dick, and then I could tap add another one. Let's say I put it to Ann Ross in there, right? And there's Ann Ross, and I would pick her, right? And tap done. So now I've got 2 people, and then I tap update. Okay, so
Right.
now I've got that group. So I'm going along and I want to send that person or persons an email. I would like to send that distribution list an email. I would tap test 1 and send an email.
Oh, okay.
And it fills in the names and okay.
That's
Hey,
great.
Bill,
Yeah.
I still have an email that I saved from Greg Purdom from 2015, where he helped me put together a group on iCloud, which is
Okay.
what I do, and then it syncs to. So I do it on my PC on iCloud. So if you want that, I can
I
forward
need
it
to
to
ask
you.
Greg a question before I answer this. Greg, when you create a group, does it take it out of the master contact list and just have it in that group?
No.
No.
And one person can be in multiple groups.
Okay, so there's another way to do this other than MailShot.
Yeah.
But you have to go to the iCloud to do it.
Correct. So if you're synced with the iCloud, easy
Yes.
peasy.
Well, no, they all sync to the iCloud, but yes.
Right.
Yes. Okay. All right, everybody. So if you go to the iCloud, and we can talk about that when we get into mail sometime. Okay. Okay.
Very good. Thank you.
All right. So we got 2 solutions to that problem.
I sent you his email.
I'm sorry, say that again, please.
I just sent you the email.
Oh, you sent me an email? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the old fashioned way.
You'll notice I had the board in there. So, for example. All right. What's next week, everybody? Anybody know? I got to go find out.
Can I ask a question?
Absolutely.
So I love the spotlight feature on my phone I've got, several hundred apps, as I think you told us you have. And if I have to find an app, I use Spotlight. But then if I want to then find the app in all the pages, it's sometimes difficult to do that, especially if the app is hidden in a group.
They used to. What you're saying is if I'm looking for an app that's hidden in a group, right? And Spotlight is one of those.
Well, Spotlight finds the app for me, But then if I then want to move the app, for example, to another page, it's sometimes hard to find where it physically is.
I know, right? I know. And it used to put a little thing beside it telling me where it was. And I haven't found a better way to find it other than searching all the folders that I have and all the pages. So,
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
And just give me a minute here.
Actually, I'm wondering, just thinking out loud, whether it might be, since you just opened it, whether it might be in the app library on the extreme right.
It is in there under, but which one's it in? It has folders as well.
Right, you can then, yeah, right.
Okay. Okay, next time, everybody. Right, we're going to be talking about using your cameras. Okay.
Well, I had a thing about, I had files in iCloud for the 30th. Am I wrong?
Is that, oh, you're right. I'm
Yeah, I
sorry.
think file
That's the
next week
6th. That's right.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk
File-
about files and using the iCloud.
Okay.
And also come with some questions because I don't know if that will take the whole 2 hours. So come on with some additional questions if everybody could just think of something.
I think so.
Okay.
Excellent, thank you very much.
All right. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Bill,
Oh, joke, wait a minute, there's a joke coming.
Go ahead. We have another question. Go ahead.
no, it's totally unrelated to today, but where do I take refurb stuff?
3949 Sawyer Road, I'm sorry, 3949 Sawyer Road. If you're coming from the interstate and you're going west on Bee Ridge, you're going to come to Sawyer Road and take a left on Sawyer Road, and it's the second building on the left. It's a two-story.
Is there always somebody there or do I make an appointment?
We're there from 10 to noon, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
Thank you.
And we'd love to get donations, yes.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Do you want donations of iPhones also?
Yeah, of course, yes. Either reset them or give us your password and your passcode. But if you reset them, it makes it much easier.
Okay, and that's 3940 Sawyer Road?
3949 Sawyer Road.
Okay.
What about old iPhone?
Yes, old or new.
Printers,
Say again.
printers,
Printers, yes, printers.
okay.
Bill, I have a question regarding the vaccination. Does anybody know whether there is a way to find out where you are on the vaccination list?
Not that I know of. They keep that quiet.
You just have to wait then.
Yeah, you're in the lottery right now.
Yeah, well, thank you.
Unless you know somebody. All right, I'm going to switch gears here, and I'm a blonde as well. Okay. So a Russian American and a blonde were talking one day. The Russian said, "We were the first ones in space." The American says, "We were the first ones on the moon." The blonde says, "So what? We're going to be the first ones on the sun." You can't land on the sun.
You can't land.
"You'll burn up," said the Russians. To which the blonde replied, "We're not stupid, you know, we go at night."
Oh, that's a good one.
All right, everybody. Have a good week.
Bye, Bill. Thank
Stay
you.
healthy. Hope you get
Bill.
your Hope you all
Thank
get a
you.
shot, a call from the county saying you got your shot scheduled.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Bill.